Today, we are honored this morning to have with us Bill Rhodes of Citigroup, who will continue yesterday's discussion on investing in China. And we're deeply honored to have Bill today because apparently he was asked by Hank Paulson this morning to have breakfast with him, and he said he can't. He has a commitment at C-100. So thank you so much, Bill. As you may know, Citigroup, the world's largest financial services company, has had some good news lately. A 15% increase in group revenues, acquisition of a very successful hedge fund, and a major cost-cutting initiative. There is positive news in China as well. Last month, Citigroup and 3 other banks were allowed to become the first foreign banks to offer expanded retail services to Chinese companies. Citibank has had a long history in China and had extensive relationship with China. They were the first foreign bank in China in 1902. They left China in 1950, then once again was one of the first back in 1983. Growing up personally, Citibank was a household name, and it is for many Chinese families, which inspired me to work there for 5 years, but that's a whole different story. To talk about Citigroup today, we have Bill Rhodes, who holds a multitude of titles. He is Senior Vice Chairman of Citigroup Senior Vice Chairman of Citigroup. He is Chairman, President, and CEO of Citibank N.A. He is also Chairman, President, and CEO of Citicorp Holdings. Quite a mouthful. Bill joined Citibank in 1957 after graduating from Brown University. Early on, he developed a strong reputation for international financial diplomacy. He has been a leader in managing the external debt crisis involving developing nations in the 80s and 90s. And today, he is responsible for Citigroup's relations with institutions and governments. With regard to China, Bill actually has a secret weapon. He has a Chinese fiancée whom he has been engaged to and been with for 6 years. But more than that, Bill has been quoted as saying, "China is our #1 investment destination globally. China-U.S. relations is evolving into the most important bilateral relationship in the world." I could cite the list of honors he has received and the many boards he serves on. It's a huge, long list, but there will be no time. Therefore, the Committee of 100 is deeply honored to have with us today Mr. William Rhodes. Thank you, Will.
Thank you, Anla, for your kind introduction. You can see by her commentary that she was a Citibanker at one time. I appreciate this turnout at this hour, and I have great admiration for the Committee of 100. I have a number of friends who are members, and I think you're known for your dedication and the work you do on improving Chinese-American relations. Today, I would like to share with you some views on China's economy, financial system, and what I think has been achieved and what needs to be done going forward. And talk a little bit also about China's role in the world economically and geopolitically. As Anla said, my institution opened its first doors in China in Shanghai in 1902. Lulo said, "Bill, can you say something that, about the relationship of Citibank, Huachi Bank as it's known in the Flower Flag Bank in China, be interest?" Well, in our boardroom, there are two things hanging on the wall. One is the flag when we were founded, our institution in 1812. The other is the flag, the flower flag, that flew over our operation in Shanghai until 1937. When we obviously were forced to take it down. But I think that shows the commitment of our institution to China. We have been rebuilding our operation over the last few years, and we now have 6 major cities in China with 19 branch outlets. We have operations in many areas, and we have investments in 2 local banks, Shanghai Pudong Development Bank, and more recently, Guangdong Development Bank. We own a software house, processing centers, call centers, and a major training center. We are very much committed to the market today and tomorrow. And we have a number of plans for increasing our participation as we are allowed by regulations. Personally, I've been involved with China since our re-entry in 1983 and have been a regular visitor since 1993. I try to go there approximately 5 times a year, if not more. I was there last month at the China Development Council meeting, which is run by the State Council and the Premier, Wen Jiabao. And I will be going again next week to open a branch in Hangzhou and to attend a meeting of the Group of 30, which is being hosted by Governor Zhou Xiaoshuan of the People's Bank of China. I think we're all aware of what China has done since 1979, where I think the real opening began. The world has seen nothing like it. And I think particularly since 1992, when Deng Xiaoping gave his favorite speech in Shenzhen, the rise of China has just been incredible. And I think most people would agree that if China keeps up at this rate, it'll become the world's largest economy within the next 25 years. The U.S. and China together account for almost half of economic growth in the world. This was the case in 2006. And approximately 1/3 of total economic output, we're the lead engines of the global economy. I believe the most important bilateral relationship in the world today and tomorrow is between China and the United States. And if this relation is good, then things will be good in the world, both economically and geopolitically. What I'd like to do now is just say a few words about the global economy and then move on to the financial sector in China. I think we're living in what I refer to as a Goldilocks economy worldwide. This was a phrase coined by my friend Alan Blinder when he was at the Federal Reserve in the 90s, applying to the U.S., but I think you can apply this to the world today. And basically what this has been driven by is record or near record levels of liquidity internationally. And I think we've seen hedge funds, private equity firms now control huge amounts of capital and are competing for investment opportunities and financial assets. Portfolio management techniques, credit derivatives, and other risk mitigants have increased our ability to diversify and manage risk, but have also emboldened investors worldwide to assume more risk. How these new financial instruments, risk management tools, and financial market players, and I would say many of them who are using highly sophisticated computer-driven models and trading systems, will respond to a market crisis or to a receding of liquidity, I think, is anybody's guess. This situation is compounded by the fact that the new players and indeed the market seem to have forgotten some of the lessons of the past crises, notably the 1997 Asian financial crisis, which went on to Russia and then to long-term capital in 1998.